Joining me now is Florida Congressman Brian Mast, also a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committees. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for joining me. And as I always say to you, thank you so much for your great service to our country. Your reaction to the president of Iran killed in a helicopter crash yesterday?
There really is no emotion to pass on. For me, it's only the analysis of what does this mean for American national security, security of our allies? What does this mean for future attacks on Israel and the sentiment across the whole of the Middle East? And the important thing to realize, the Ayatollah wears the title Supreme Leader. He's the Supreme Leader of Iran. It's a lifetime Supreme Leader post. And the president of Iran is really, it's an executive position answering to the Supreme Leader, going to execute the will of the Supreme Leader. So I don't see a change in this for attitudes towards America, for what America's attitude should be towards Iran, for what change in policy could take place towards Israel. I don't see any change in that whatsoever, and that's my analysis.
Do you believe this was an accident?
Currently, I have no reason to believe that this wasn't an accident. All reporting coming out of the Middle East, whether you're looking at that from Turkey, from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from anybody that was helping with the search and rescue effort, all seem to indicate that this was entirely due to weather, heavy, dense fog that was even preventing them from finding the crash site for a number of hours.
So what happens now in terms of the war on Israel? I mean, President Biden has been, trying to determine Israel's path since day one, since October 7th, October 8th. President Biden is now renewing his call for a ceasefire in Gaza. He did so during a commencement address that he gave yesterday at Morehouse College. Watch this.
What's happening in Gaza and Israel is heartbreaking. Hamas's vicious attack on Israel, killing innocent lives and holding people hostage. Innocent Palestinians caught in the middle of all of this. Men, women, and children killed or displaced. It's a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. That's why I've called for an immediate ceasefire. An immediate ceasefire to stop the fighting. Bring the hostages home.
Well, we haven't gotten any indication that Hamas is going to bring the hostages home. We understand from the Israeli side that the leadership of Hamas is in Rafah. But Biden does not want Israel to go further into Rafah.
No, you look at this situation and you know that Hamas is holding bodies of hostages from wars past, from many years past. This has been an ongoing problem. It's unlikely, even as this war comes to an end, that they return the bodies of Americans or Israelis. We don't have any guarantee that that would take place. And I think you continue to see this schizophrenia of policy out of the Biden administration because they really use polling as their authority. So if they're at Morehouse College and people are going to clap if Biden says, hey, we need to have a ceasefire across all of Gaza, then that's going to be his policy. If he comes to Miami, Florida, and he says, well, listen, it's a better poll down here if I say we're going to have Israel's back 100%, it's an ironclad relationship, then that's going to be the schizophrenia of this policy. Yeah. And in the end, it's not good for the security of America or our allies. Well,
let me just clarify, because I think initially Biden and the White House seemed to support Israel after the October 7th deadly attack on Israel. And then people started, the pro-Palestinian group started attacking Biden. And that's when he started making a change and trying to get involved in where Israel was going. Biden made those comments as White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan was meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday, urging him to limit the Rafah military operation. We're also learning, Congressman, this morning that the International Criminal Court has asked for an arrest warrant for Netanyahu and 3 top Hamas officials. Your thoughts?
We saw this arrest warrant coming. It's been touted. It's been spoken about for the last several weeks. In the House of Representatives, myself and Representative Chip Roy, we partnered with Senator Cotton to move legislation, and I think we'll probably see this come up this week as a result of the International Criminal Court making that announcement. And it would essentially say any of these justices that are a part of the court, they will be sanctioned. They won't be allowed into the United States of America, or they will be removed. They won't even be allowed in for the UN General Assembly.
Congressman, real quick on the border, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to bring the Senate's failed border bill back to the floor this week. He wants to vote on it. This is the same legislation that was negotiated by Senators Lankford, Sinema, and Murphy. Republicans rejected this deal because it would allow 5,000 people in a day before the administration would do anything. The Republicans say it's not going to solve this crisis, and it would allow Biden to abuse the parole system. But Schumer sent a letter to senators last night claiming this bill will give Biden new authorities to close the border. Your thoughts?
It was a bad bill before. It's still a bad bill now. Democrats want to move this because they want to say they did something on border, even if it's still terrible policy. They're looking at it and saying, well, listen, the law is the law and we should enforce law. No, that's not the way that they want to operate. They want to say there is law in place. We don't want to enforce that law, but let's at least try to say that we did something on it. And we created a floor for how many people will be allowed in, and to know where this is going for the Democrats. Now you have Democrats opposed to it saying, well, listen, you can't prevent anybody from coming in. That's really the real Democrat policy on this.
That's a great point, Congressman. It's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe. I will be back on YouTube with more exclusive content, so stay tuned.